is going to cover everything with Canvas assignments. So we'll look at types of assignments, collecting those assignments, and then giving feedback to students. So I'm on my home page in my Canvas course right now, and I'm going to get ready to create an assignment. For my class, I'm going to create that assignment via modules. You can create an assignment via the calendar. You can also go to the assignments area and create the assignment there. We do recommend though that you still add that assignment to a module here. So you can see I've got a couple different assignments. I have a few different pages within my module, so I'm going to create a new assignment within the module. So I'll click Add Assignment to Unit 4 and then New Assignment, and I'm going to add a name. So this would be Unit 4 lesson or assignment number 3, and I'll click Add Item. What you'll notice when I add that item to my module is that it is initially unpublished. So keep that in mind. It's not going to go out for students yet. And I'll just click on the name to start to edit it. At the top right, I get Edit. And now I'm able to add details to my assignment. We highly recommend adding as many details as possible, particularly if students are going to be outside of your classroom doing this, or they're going to be doing it remotely. You'll want to make sure that you include all directions that you would have given verbally. So maybe my assignment directions go first. And then I might have some how to submit directions and grading information for this assignment. So I'm just laying out every expectation and what the students can anticipate. I'm going to make each of these, we'll say heading 4, just so they stand out a little bit. And then I would have information below that. And maybe some bullet points in there. With my information for submitting, we're going to talk about this a little later, but we do have a sample assignment that you could use early on to teach your students how to submit an assignment. And then you can actually use those same how to submit directions for every single assignment. And then I've got my grading information. So I've added all my details to my assignment, and I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to begin to add additional things. So each of these points here we'll talk about. So the first one is points. I'm going to make this 10. Next is assignment groups. And as a reminder, you will want to make sure that you import your assignment categories from PowerSchool. We will have more information about that process as the school year approaches. I want to import my assignment categories and then make sure that whatever assignment group that I choose is actually a PowerSchool group if I intend to sync my grades. I can also choose to display my grade on different scales here, so I'm just going to do points. Submission type. So I've got no submission, which means that students will not be turning anything in, whether it be via Canvas or in person. I have an online submission, which is probably our most popular. I have on paper. This means that students would actually be physically turning something in. And then finally, external tool. So let's take a look at online submissions. For this assignment, we're going to keep this as an online submission assignment. I can choose how I would like for students to turn in this assignment. Our most popular option within here is file uploads, which allows students to turn something in from their Google Drive. I can also choose to maybe just let them type in as a text entry, add a website URL, which includes sharing a Google Doc or a slideshow and submitting it that way. They can record media, so this would be both audio and video. And then finally, with all of these things, I can also choose to enable Turnitin submissions, which means that my students' submissions are going to be run through Turnitin, and I'm going to get a similarity report and a similarity score for those students. We're going to skip group assignments and peer reviews for now, but just know that these options are available as well. Next, as a reminder, again, if I did do my assignment groups, then I'm also able to sync to PowerSchool here. So I can choose that checkbox, and that's just going to make it eligible to sync to PowerSchool. And then finally, I'm going to come to my assign area. In this assign area, I'm able to add a due date, and I'm also able to add availability dates. The first date is when they can begin to access this assignment. The last date is when they can no longer submit the assignment. If I have a student that was absent and maybe they need a different due date, instead of changing anything about this area, I can actually just click add down at the bottom, and I can give them a new due date. So I would just type in the student's name here and then be able to click add underneath that. Give them a new due date and everything. So this assignment looks pretty good to me. I've got file uploads. We're going to do 10 points. We've added all of our directions, and I'm ready to save and publish. It's going to show me that assignment page again once it saves. And I can see this, all of my directions are here. Here's my assignment name. And if I go to my calendar, I will see this assignment on July 17th because I've added it as that due date. It's also going to show up within my modules, which is where I began this process of creating the assignment. So now let's look at creating an assignment for an external tool. That's another submission type that I think would be very popular. So we'll go to Unit 4, Assignment number 4. And there are a few different external tools that we can use. Today we're going to look at Plato as an external tool. And so I'm going to come back up to the top and I'm going to choose Edit. I can add all the same information that I had at the top here before. Now this is going to be a Plato assignment, so I might say launch Plato in a new tab and work through the assignment. I'm going to make this 10 points. I'm going to choose external tool this time, and I'll click find. There are a few external tools that we use on a regular basis. The first being Plato, the second being Google Docs Cloud Assign, which actually allows you to create a Google Doc or a slideshow and make a copy for each student. The students would then have that Google Doc or that slideshow. They'll be able to edit it and they'll turn it in. So if you are doing something in Google, Google Docs Cloud Assign is a great option. And then the last option is turn it in. So in addition to the turn it in that we had before, this turn it in will check for more things than just your similarity report. So it's a little more robust. We're going to look at Plato courseware, and I'll choose select. And I always recommend load this tool in a new tab when working with Plato. I'll add my due date. And for this one, I'm just going to click save because I haven't actually chosen my assignment yet. So you can see here, these are my directions. And I'm going to choose load Unit 4, assignment number 4 in a new window. It will load up Plato. Plato Content is going to be mastery for some of these units. So let's say I'm working with Math 7. Let me get down to Math 7. And I can expand that content. And then if I see anything that says view here, I am able to view that content. If I see select on the right-hand side, I can select and actually assign that content. If I have a pre-test, post-test, or end of semester test, Plato is going to pass back a percentage grade. So if my assignment is worth 50 points and the student gets an 80%, they'll get 40 points passed back to Canvas. With these smaller units, I'm looking here at this activity here will be a tutorial and a mastery test. So I'm able to select unit rates here. I can actually select this content, and I'll go ahead and do that. That is going to be a mastery grade. So that means if my students score an 80% or higher, they're going to get 100% passed back to Canvas. If they get below an 80%, they'll get a 0 passed back to Canvas. They are able to go back through the tutorial and take the mastery test over again. so that is possible for them, and then it will pass back that grade. I can view the assignment curriculum here. I could also have viewed it before I selected the content. So now that I've selected that content, it's ready to go for the students. So I'm going to come back into Canvas and I'm going to make sure that I publish that. So these are my 2 assignments for my students, 3 and 4, 3 being just a traditional file upload and 4 being my Plato content. Taking a look at what a student would see when they turn in an assignment, students will be able to access their assignments from their dashboard, from their Canvas calendar as long as it has a due date, and from within the course, just depending on where you organize that content. As a reminder, we recommend organizing through modules. It makes it easier for students to understand the pacing of the course. So when they click on their assignment, let's say this biome travel guide here, they're going to click on the assignment, and at the top right, they'll see a submit assignment button. And when they click that, it will bring them down to the bottom of the page where it will have these options. If your students are on their TSC issued Chromebook, they will be able to use either File Upload or Google Drive. With File Upload, they are able to choose more than one file. With Google Drive, they can only select one file. Once they've selected that file, they can add any comments that they'd like to, and then they can click Submit. So they'll click Submit. And then students will be given a submission confirmation. If the file has been submitted and everything looks good, they're going to see what we see over here on the left. They'll see a little submitted check mark. They'll be able to see that uploaded document and everything's good. If they don't see that, on the right-hand side, we have 2 other options here. The first one is that it is currently uploading. Maybe it's a larger file, so it's still uploading. Or the second one here, their upload has failed. So this is an error here. It's submitted, but it didn't actually upload the document. So these are definitely 2 things that I would point out to students as they're entering your classroom in the fall. What does that look like for them? We do have an extra resource that we'd like to share with you. It's our TSC Canvas Student Orientation. This will be shared in a back-to-school email that we send out to all teachers. In this student orientation, it actually outlines all of those steps, as well as how to log into Canvas, what their dashboard looks like, how they find their courses, notifications, and so on. So there are the same screenshots that I just shared with you are also included in this presentation. Once a student has submitted something in Canvas, as a teacher, you're able to go into an area called Speed Grader. And Speed Grader just makes it easier for you to grade student submissions. So you'll see their submission over here on the left-hand side, and then you'll be able to see details about that submission as well as enter a grade or include a rubric for that submission. The student name will be displayed at the top right here, and you'll have a little drop-down menu of all your student names. You'll also be able to see the assignment name as well as the due date and the course. Along the top here on this darker gray bar, I'm going to get annotation tools. So I'm able to add flagged comments, highlight, text, strike through. I can actually annotate with my touchscreen device and my pen, or I can select an entire area. And with each of these, as I click on the document, I can also see a comment pop up on the left-hand side to actually be able to make a comment about that flag or about the text, strike through, and so on. With rubrics, we are able to include rubrics for easier grading within Canvas. Once an assignment has been created, you are able to add a rubric later on. We can also add rubrics just to the course to be able to use later. So let's go back to our Canvas course, and I'm going to go to assignment number 3, and I'm going to see my details at the top, and then down at the bottom here I see plus rubric. If I click on that, I can create my own rubric here, and I can also find a rubric. If I choose find a rubric, I'm going to see all the rubrics that I've created over time or that I have access to, and I can reuse all of those rubrics. Coming this fall, you will also see rubrics on the side navigation here. It's not there yet, but it will be there very soon. We will be advertising that for you. And again, rubrics just make it a little easier to grade your assignments. You're actually able to click on the rubric itself. So I can click on each of these boxes. I can add comments. I can add point values from that rubric and then use that point value to grade the student submission. We have put together as a team an assignment about how to turn in assignments. So it actually shows students how to turn an assignment in to Canvas. So if you go to your Canvas Commons, you can actually search for either my name, Sarah Margison, or Learn How Assignment, and this should give you a copy of that assignment to be able to import into your course and use it. This assignment is going to walk students through how to create a Google Doc, add their name, and then actually submit that Google Doc to Canvas. So to give you a little preview of what that assignment looks like, you can see here it outlines the steps for the students as well as has helpful screenshots for them. This would be something that you would import into your module or into your assignments, however you're going to organize things, add a due date to it, and so on. It will show them how to submit that assignment and how to verify that they have actually submitted it correctly. It is worth 10 points, but you can always change any of these details as well. Thanks for watching this webinar. As always, if you have any questions, you can contact the Connected Learning team at clteam@tsc.k12.in.us.